the fact that they that Kevin O'Connell got 14 wins out of a couple different years, but it's unsustainable, and it's why they weren't going to wait till after this draft. They had to, in a perfect world they would have done it back in December.
Yeah,
started looking for someone, but I give him credit for not waiting until another draft passes to let him. He's not just standing picking the players by himself, but he's the one that directs. He's the one that is getting everyone on the same page and orchestrating this thing, and just woefully overmatched in that role. And it just was the monumental flop that it was.
Something that occurs to me real quick, and you don't have to talk on this too much, but it's a week later from when they let Quayce go, and not unlike Kevin Stefanski, Quayce hasn't got a new job yet. What do you think will happen to him? Do you think he'll get another job in the league, maybe as a lower level personnel guy?
Well, yeah, he will never be a GM again. And I say that even knowing that Cleveland could screw up and do something higher. I would guess that he might end up back in Cleveland's front office in a similar analytics. And I'm not saying there's not a role for him maybe in a front office somewhere, but it's not at the top of the food chain. It's when I was talking to Ron Wolf about analytics, he said, he goes, he started in 1963 with Al Davis with the Raiders. He said everything with Al was a position specific, height, weight, speed. He goes, that's analytics. He goes, so there's always been to analytics, but he goes, I don't know what they're talking about now. And he said it always came back to CHP. Someone told him CHP, and he goes, CHP is can he play? And so you can take all these analytics, but you got to be able to look at the film and say, can he play? And whenever the guys like John Schneider, Elliott Wolf, that begin as scouts, and everything that they do is grinding 24 hours a day, learning the craft of how to evaluate and everything that goes into that. And then they get to a point where they're going to be hired to lead a department. Everyone in that department is going to respect them. And I don't think, Quayce had that ability to, and that's why you hear, Mark Wilf saying, well, it's the dynamics, or it's, those are all fancy front of the camera explanations of, there just wasn't the respect, and then for this guy to be able to take you in a direction and succeed.
Well, that explanation of analytics, we just lost our coveted 21 to 34 age group, for the which probably for us probably wasn't that big.
Yeah, really.
I have certainly sung the praises, of Quayce in this regard, that they did pretty good with undrafted free agents after the draft. That's like false, doing, praising someone with faint face or whatever that cliche is, but because you want to get the draft picks in the draft and not have to scramble to do so after.